Welcome, Universal Spirit Center. I'm so glad that you're here. It sounds a little dead in here, but just check and see if you can hear me out there. We got the new computer today. We just didn't have time to get it hooked up, but all is well. So I want to welcome you to this divine space, and we're going to take a journey. So come along with me. Free your mind. I like tight clothes and high heel shoes. That doesn't mean that I'm a prostitute. No, no, no. I like rap music, wear hip hop clothes. That doesn't mean that I am selling dope. No, no. Oh, please forgive me for having straight hair. That doesn't mean there's another blood in my hair. I might date another race or color. It doesn't mean I don't like my strong black brothers. Why must it be this way? Before you can read me, you got to learn how to see me. I said, free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. So I'm a sister about things with cash. It doesn't mean that all my credit's bad. Oh no. So why you bother and waste my time? Because you think the price is too high for me. I can look without being watched. No, you rang up my product before I made up my mind. You and the attitude, you can lose that. You can't change my color, I can't change your mind. Why must it be this way? Before you can read me, you got to learn how to see me. I said, free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Come on, y'all. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Free your mind. The fantastic, the incredible Linda Ely on piano, and the wonderful Sarah Adams back behind the controls. We want to welcome you in to this Awakening Wednesday. And I kind of just jumped right in, but let us set this vibrational tone of prayer. And I'm going to ask Linda to play her flute if you have it with you. That'll be fantastic. As we send out this vibrational prayer to our universe, to each and every person, to everyone in our family, to our friends, we send out this new awakening that's taking place on the planet right now. This light that is within each of us is being recognized at such a cellular level that there is an awakening in consciousness that is going forth. So I pray and know that in this journey of discovery that we are creating a new awareness, that we are centered in the presence of love, in the presence of God, in the presence of all that there is. Love. Love yourself. Love who you are. Love where you are. Love what you can be. Love the idea of you. Love your creation. Love your life. And as you love, that love ripples across our universe. And we share in that love. I send you blessings. And we take this love, as we always ask the divine universe to use us, to be an open vessel for us to be used. Join me. I know most of you will know this song out there. Hum it, sing it, just feel it, that we are being used for a higher calling right now. That each and every one of us, use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, makes all things new, leading us to shine His light as me, that you so use me. Oh God, I stand for you. Here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine His light as me. And use me. Oh God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light can, all that I can do. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So here we are, Awakening Wednesday. And I believe my initial title was Create a New You. And little did I know what would be coming forth in this week and all that's been unfolding. And so my heart, my spirit has been open to stand in this space and have a conversation, have a possibility of what we can be and where we can go from here. So let's acknowledge that I feel that a great deal of America is finally at this space where it's saying, oh, we got a problem. I don't know why it took so long, but there were no more excuses. And that's an interesting place, that with the separation of black, white, Hispanic, Asian, all of the different cultures, that we being a lot of us here in America are recognizing that racism is not only alive, but it's trying to make a comeback. That, and I don't mean like it ever went away. What I am saying is that there's been this space that because people have been progressing, and we have a billionaire, we have a couple of billionaires that are black, and that we have forgotten that still there is a divide within all of us. There is a separation, and I send out prayers to every black man that has stood in a space frightened, afraid, angry because of the color of their skin. Any person of color that has been unjustly violated, I send you big prayers. And I also send everyone that is awakening to the fact that we are in this together. We can no longer think that this is a black problem. It is a biracial problem. It is something separate from me. I started looking that we have been classified as a minority. I'm not a minority. Even the word minority states that I'm less than the majority. These are the subtle things of racism that have been embedded in our culture that we must let go of. You see, George is everyone. For anyone to be violated and be killed for any unjust reason, we are all him. And the sooner we understand that when I can see you not as something different from me, but you are a divine being just like me, here on a different journey, here creating a different reality, but you are deserving of a life that is full of love and joy and bliss and abundance, and the right to walk or run in a street and not be violated. And for the world not to use excuses for those who have done the violation. You know, I didn't know there was a third-degree murder. I'd never heard. Third-degree murder. And in doing some research on that, it's kind of like, oops, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to keep my foot or my knee on your neck for 5, 6, 7 minutes. It is this type of thinking that has gotten us to this space, that anyone can hurt or harm someone and not be held accountable. You know, I saw a video that really touched my heart, and it was for me the first time I saw an officer that spoke out, that said this is not right. And I know for a lot of us out there, we like, it's been a long time coming. I mean, there have been so many that have been killed for no reason. Oh, he was running. He was running from the cops. That's a reason to kill him. And believe it or not, some of you out there had that excuse. Oh, he hit an officer. He was resisting arrest without a weapon. Without a weapon. So this officer said, I'm a good officer, and it's time that good officers speak out. Because what has been happening before is that the color blue has been more connected than the human beings that we are, than officers recognizing that this is a human being, that we can't just kill someone. You have sworn an oath to protect and serve. And it's not a job I could do. And I'm not saying it's an easy one. And I do want you to know that I appreciate the good officers. So when people give the feedback, every officer's not bad. I'm not talking about those officers. Let's not be distracted. I'm not talking about the officers that are here to protect and serve the human race. I'm not talking about those officers. I'm talking about an officer that has an underground, he or she, hatred for any culture, and that uses their job and power to violate someone. I'm talking about that. We must stand up and say no more. No more. In the new world that I am creating within myself, there is no room for that. Just as there is no room for separation. There was a movie called A Time to Kill, and some of you may know it. And the movie is based in the South. Very powerful movie. Young little black girl, about 7 or 8 years old, coming back from the store. Two white boys in their 20s, drunk, grab her and they rape her, and their intent is to kill her. They violate this little girl in ways that just despicable. And somebody finds her, and she's laying on a gurney. And her dad walks in, and she's crying, and she's bloody, and just, they have urinated on her, just a mess. And she's crying. She said, I called for you, Daddy. I called for you, Daddy. I called for you. And everyone, that moment was so intense. And so you see this father, this black father, that is met with this unbearable situation as the doctor proceeds to tell him that his little girl will never have children. They have just disrupted everything. So he goes home with his wife as they leave the child there. And I'm jumping to another scene where you see him sitting and waiting for the two boys that are going on trial. And now in this county, it's a Ku Klux Klan county. So they're laughing, and I can't even believe they had a black sheriff. I can't even believe he arrested me. The father comes out as they're on their way, and he shoots them and kills them. Now the whole town is in an uproar. Just a few minutes ago, where this little young black girl had been just violated, It was just a family and some friends. But now here are two white boys that are clearly a menace to society, have violated, don't give a hootenanny. Now the Klan is involved. It is a big stink. And I share all of this with you to share this scene at almost toward the end of the movie. The lawyer for, I almost called the actor, Samuel L. Jackson and Matthew McConaughey. He made some stumbling, bumbling blocks along the way. So in his summation, he says, imagine this. He asked them to close their eyes. He said, imagine this little black girl walking down the street. Actually, he said, got a bag of goodies that she went to the store. And these two men, they come and they grab her and they beat her and they rape her and they urinate on her and they leave her there to die. And you see her in the hospital barely living. And she says, I called for you, Daddy. I called for you. He said, now imagine that little girl is white. And I loved at that moment because every juror that had their eyes closed, their eyes opened. And that said that to me then, and it says it to me now, that as long as we keep thinking that this black person or that black person or that Asian or that Hispanic, as long as we see people as a culture and not as we are one. One. If one gets hurt, we all get hurt. If one is violated, we are all violated. Recognizing that there is no majority, there is the divine being. We are divine beings, all coming from the same space, here to create an amazing world. Not to do the same thing, not even to like the way everybody does everything, but we have come here. We all come through the birthing channel. We've come here, whether you believe in God, source, light, we've come here all in the same manner. And so for us to move forward from where we are now, because we're at the tip of the mountain, there's choices. We can allow the gremlins, and that's what I call them. I call them the gremlins. The gremlins are those that distract us from what's really going on. People start out a protest. The majority of the people in the protest, they start out that protest to make a statement, not to vandalize buildings and burn cars. Those are other people that insert themselves into the protest to create havoc. Don't let them distract you. Don't have a conversation about that and lose what's at hand right here. Don't let the gremlins get your attention. Sometimes we have gremlins in our family and our friends. If we fight for justice, then we are fighting against. And if we are fighting against, then we are in the same low vibrational consciousness that created it from the beginning. That's where the gremlins are. See, that awareness, that reality, we all know about that reality. We have to start asking ourselves the question. See, you can tell who a Ku Klux Klan is. They're showing their colors. But those of us that aren't clear, the subtle prejudice, the subtle racism, to go fill out an application and to have minority on there, that immediately says that I'm already less than the majority. No more. We are divine beings here to create a life of divine magnificence in our own way. So how do we do that? How do we start to create a new reality? For me, I have to own up that I have to let go of the old reality. I had to start becoming aware that I wasn't a second-class citizen. And although my family had shared things with me that they felt at that time would keep me alive, I can't keep that conversation alive within me if I am to live as the divine being that I am. I am great, just like you are great. We are one. So my practice must become creating the newness within me. And I believe that love is the most powerful way to do that. Within our family and friends, you don't have to go far to love when there is a difference of opinion. See, if I stay tuned to love, then my divine right action takes me to a higher level. I don't have to try to fix you. Because the moment I say something's wrong with you, we're back again separate. I may not understand you. For so long, people said they didn't understand the plight of Black Americans. And I think finally we've gotten to a space, we've gotten to an awareness, some of us, that the plight of the Black American is yours as well. We can't be a country that's whole, having anybody feel as though they're second class, giving anyone an excuse to violate because you are afraid, because you have fear, or just because you hate somebody. We can't be that country anymore. We've been that for so long. People can't say, I didn't know. We can't use that excuse any longer. Policemen can't say, the color blue is my organization. That's a gang. If that's where you lie, where your allies lie, then you're in a gang. But you said you were here for everyone, to protect everyone. Good cops have to stand up and say no more. We have come to this space in the road where we get to make a choice. Who are you going to be every day? Are you going to serve love, or are you going to serve hate? Will you serve your fear, or will you open up and understand that just like everybody, you're working on being the best that you can be, but that requires a practice. That requires a practice. That requires that each and every one of us have a practice daily to rise in consciousness, to lift up ourselves so that when we step out into the world, we are a light, a beacon that says it can be done, and we are doing it now. We are the hope that we're looking for. It's not in our politicians. It's not in somebody writing a law. You can't write a law to have somebody appreciate you. We must be that appreciation ourselves. I believe that the spiritual laws that we have intact are here for us at this moment, at this time, and we have to stand in it. So that when we step to divine right action, we're stepping to our highest and best. Not to the low level. We don't have to beat out somebody in order to move forward. We must love the world that we're in. And I must recognize me everywhere. I am that I am. I am that I am. This COVID-19 has affected the entire world. If we can't understand now that what we do affects the entire world, the hate that we've carried, and understand, doesn't mean you have to hate somebody. The hate for yourself is still a vibrational energy that you're putting out into the universe. We got to start loving where we are right here, right now. The fear that we carry. There is a fearful pull out in this divine universe that has been pushing, that has been vibrating. It's time for us to wake up. Not wake up and fight. Wake up and love that we know that there's divine principles at place here. And that's not going to work for everybody. I'm okay with that. We all will find our path, but do find a path. Don't sit in, there's nothing I can do. It's just the way the world is. It is not just the way the world is. It is the way we are creating it. And if you believe that you are a divine creator, you're creating every day. Today I had an opportunity to lose my Kool-Aid. Lose it! Chasing this computer. I had called UPS because they came yesterday, wasn't there, supposed to get a text, all of that, blah, blah, blah. So I called it. It took literally maybe 3 to 4 hours for me to actually get a person. And I get a person, and we work out where I'm going to go and pick up the computer from Ronson. Go over it with the guy. Yes, 2 o'clock. Bam, bam. I go there. And the guy says, well, we got some good news, and we got some bad news. Good news is we got one of your packages here. I was like, what? He said, well, that is good news. The bad news is the other package is out on the truck. So as I'm standing there, and I use this because every day we have an opportunity to decide who and what and how we're going to be. When you sit on the mountaintop and oh, that's beautiful. But when you are here on planet Earth, in the mix of things, you're making decisions and choices in that moment. Who are you going to be then? What have you practiced so that when it doesn't look like it's working, you don't lose your Kool-Aid? So he came back out from the back and said, well, we don't have neither one of your packages here. I said, man. And I could feel it rising. It being anger, frustration, because I've spent the time on the phone. I did it. This is where it's supposed to be. Now you see, and I'm not comparing, but I am comparing that we have to start practicing a daily and be diligent with our work. Be diligent with our spiritual practice. That has to be more important than anything. So that we can be ready when we're faced with situations that make you, or you get to choose, to lose your Kool-Aid. And I saw myself because I was frustrated. And he said, well, it's on the truck. You better chase, you better run back home and see if you can catch him. And I had no, nothing. And I looked at him, I said, I'm going to need to take a breath right here. I need to take a breath. I said, because I know that you're doing the best that you can. I said, but I'm just frustrated. And I had to get that out so that I could move forward. So there was another guy standing there, and he looked at me and he said, I'm frustrated too. I said, are you? So we looked at one another. He said, I've been trying to get this. And he said, and I know they're working hard. I said, everybody is. I said, but you want what you want when you want. I said, but we can't take it out on them. He said, you're right. He said, I want to. I said, I do too. But they're doing the best they can. We're all in this thing doing the best that we can. And what was so funny, he stepped toward me to hug me. And we both had our mask on. And he looked and I looked. He said, I just want to thank you for reminding me. And that's where I got it from. He said, I don't have to lose my Kool-Aid. I said, no, you don't. Here was a white man, a black woman, a black man, a white woman, and a Hispanic woman, all in this little pool here. We were all in this little thing here, working. And the tension that's here in the world has also brought a beautiful awareness to people where they want to say hello. They want to say, they're like, hey, I love you. I love you. I know I may not have been awake before, but I'm awake now. Hello. And so as we stood there and we just smiled, and for a moment, everything just stopped. And I said, well, I got some chasing to do. He said, I'm going to stay right here. He said, I think they have my package. I said, I know they will. You be blessed and be safe. And so the man said, let me take your number down. I gave him my number. So as I'm driving, I'm working. I know that God is all that there is, and I will not let a computer take my day. But how many times do we let things take our day? We've let racism take our world, either by not participating or by ignoring that it exists at all. I had some people say, I didn't even know racism was still happening. It's like, I can't even fathom that. I don't know how to digest it. Where have you been? What island have you been on? So as I'm driving, I'm being mindful. I'm being mindful. And sure enough, when I get to the house, UPS is come and gone. And I'm frustrated, and I pull over. And I go, okay, God, we got some choices here. I can either be frustrated or I can have another solution. What will I do? What can I do? And just then I looked up and I saw a UPS truck. I said, well, you know what? I could go ask them if that's the truck. So I go to that truck. And the guy says, nope, not in this area. I go to one truck, two truck, third. By the third truck, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And the girl says, let me see if I can find the truck for you. So she tells me the general area, and I find the truck. And the woman says, oh, I'm so glad. She was excited to see me. She said, I came yesterday and you weren't there. She said, I just felt like you needed it. She said, and you know what? I had 2 boxes, but I only had one today. I thought, why would that happen? So as we stood there talking about this computer, which for some may seem like it has nothing to do with anything, but it has everything to do with everything. Because when we make our practice that important, that no matter what we're dealing with, that God is with us in it. See, it doesn't matter what's facing you. What matters is where you choose to look when it's facing you. And right now, what's facing us is this opportunity to grow out of this juvenile, racist world. To grow into a greater expansion of who and what we can be. to understand that it is not poor black people, it is my people. It is not that community, it is us. If you find yourself saying they and them, then where are you? Where are you? So, let's take a breath here. We see Black Lives Matter. Lives matter. I can't breathe. That for me has taken on a whole new meaning. We haven't been able to breathe because we've been stifling the breath of God that is the truth of who and what we are. We haven't been able to breathe because we've been waiting for somebody else to do it. We haven't been able to breathe because we said there is no justice and nothing can be done. We haven't been able to breathe because we haven't committed to a practice to be accountable for who and what we are. So I'm asking you to join me. And I always believe it starts with ourselves. So every night, this week, I send myself an email. And I always write, I love you, Gino, or I adore you, Gino, or whatever it may be. And thank you for this day. And I email it to myself. And I don't look at it until the next day. But you know what? It never fails. When I see it, I'm like, ooh, there's such a joy and a glow that happens in my spirit. Because the universe is telling me, I love you. And do you know that I can go out into the world and share that love? I don't have to be afraid of anyone. I don't have to feel that I'm less than to anyone. I'm not a minority. I am a divine being just like you. So join me this week. Every night. It doesn't have to be a novel. Do it Wednesday night. Look at it Thursday, either in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever you come across your emails. And then Thursday night, write yourself another one for 1 week. And then join me again here next Wednesday, and we will step into a new practice. When you can love yourself in such a way that you see yourself in someone else, it's hard to hate somebody from that space. We are divine beings, here exploring and learning that there's more than enough for all. That this universe is so abundant. There's more waste than we could even fathom. There's so much good. And as a spiritual community, I believe it is our absolute duty to stand in so much love that wherever we go, when people see us, they just go, wow, something about them. I want to know about it. I want to share in it. So fill your spirit with love. Fill your heart with love. Health, wholeness, and happiness. Health, wholeness, and happiness. wholeness, and happiness. Health, wholeness, and happiness. Health, wholeness, and happiness. Praise the good and raise the world in health, wholeness, and happiness. Love, laughter, and letting go. Love, laughter, and letting go. Raise the good and raise the world with love, laughter, and letting go. Wealth, willing and wonderful. Wealth, willing and wonderful. Praise the good and raise the world with wealth, wonder, and willingness. As this is our conscious giving time, I am asking each and every one of you to open your heart even wider and not just giving financially, but give of your time. Give your time to your practice and practice with me as we grow and we create a new reality. We create a world that's filled full of love for all.
Hi everyone, Jonas Simon here. If we haven't met, I'm a prayer practitioner student here at the Universal Spirit Center, and I'm talking to you today because I will be teaching a class on Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I see that this is reversed in the video, but if you can't read it, it says How to Lose Your Mind and Create a New One. It's going to be a fascinating book study that also combined with engaged meditation practice. I also teach meditation, and we'll be unifying those two elements as we go over the text together. So that starts June 16th, Tuesdays, for 6 weeks. If you are interested in signing up, please go to the universalspiritcenter.org website and then click on the classes tab, and you should be able to access it from there. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
About a new class that I'm going to be teaching based on the book called Braving the Wilderness. It's by Brené Brown. Many of you know and love her as I do. This class is about a journey within, taking us back to our authentic self at the center of our being, the place where the divine lies most mightily, and allowing that to be what shows up in the world, so that we can find the sacredness in being part of ourselves and in being part of something bigger than ourselves. This is a class about connecting first to ourselves and secondly to each other. And I think that in this world today, it's exactly what we all need. Brené calls this place of true belonging the bravest and most sacred place we will ever stand. And I absolutely believe that is true. So I'd like you to join me on Thursday evenings on Zoom. We're going to start June 25th at 6:30 p.m. The class only goes for an hour and a half, and it goes for 6 weeks. If you're interested and have questions, please let me know personally. If not, you may register on universalspiritcenter.org under the Classes tab. Thanks so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Miss you all and love you. Bye-bye.
Hello, bright souls. My name is Liza Talbot, and I am one of your licensed prayer practitioners. I want to tell you that I am so excited because we are coming up on our summer offering of Foundations for Spiritual Living. Now, this is a class that is an 11-week accredited course through Centers for Spiritual Living, and it's a prerequisite for other accredited courses.
Those are a few announcements. Because here at Universal Spirit Center, we are about the consciousness of expanding. And so I hope that you go to our web Thursday night on the Zoom community at 6:30. We will continue this conversation, allowing each and every one of you to just speak your mind. Just come and join the Zoom. It's from 6:30 to 7:30. Reverend Kevin will be the moderator. I will be there. We will be there for you to just let your heart pour out. Because holding anything in, you can't move forward. So come and join us, always at universalspiritcenter.org. You can find all the different classes. We do have a nightly Zoom. Just on Thursday, tomorrow, this Zoom will take the place of that, where we will come together as a community and just speak what's on our mind and know that it will be met with love and appreciation no matter what it is. I thank you all for spending this time with me. And I forgot to mention, they're asking me to ask you, if you donate on Wednesday, just put that it's for Wednesday, just so we know what category it goes in. It's for Wednesday. So you just join me in this divine, joyous space as we let the love, now that we can just speak about it. And I do want to say this, that the more we can talk about it, the more we can learn and grow. We can go nowhere if we close up and point fingers. We want to just beam love. And in order to do that, we have to talk. And as a community, we have to be able to talk truthfully. Truthfully. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let, just let it be. Joy. We let the joy wash over each and every one of us. We let it be. Peace. We let the peace watch over us. We let it be. I love you, Universal Spirit Center. I'll see you tomorrow night.